Congressman Louie Gohmert joins us right now, the Texas congressman, kind enough to give us some time here this morning. And Congressman, let's dive into a couple of different issues. Let's start with the thing that's, I guess, most the topic here close at hand, and that is the fact that the House had a resolution this week reaffirming a commitment to a peaceful transfer of power. You voted against it. Tell us why.
Well, it actually says that the House of Representatives intends there should be no disruptions by the president or any person in power. That means that doesn't apply to Biden. And we've already had Hillary Clinton telling him that he should not concede under any circumstances. And all I wanted to do, I was trying to get them to accept an amendment that said by the president or any other candidate. But they would not allow that. They wanted it simply as a slapdown of the president. And I had even some Republicans coming up to me and saying, Louie, we got to vote for this. And I said, no, it's a slap at Trump unless they put mention of other candidates or Biden in there, the Democrat candidate, then I'm not voting for it, just a slap at Trump. And the response was, well, but the Senate voted for it. Well, the Senate had a voice vote. Most of the senators didn't vote. It's just nobody requested a recorded vote. I know some of the senators would not have voted for that. But just because the Senate does something stupid doesn't mean that we all have to take a slap at the president. And as I said on the floor, it's not Republicans that have ever been challenging the results of election. I mean, it was Democrats in 1860, and Monica Crowley worked for President Nixon, and she told me that the election night, 1960, he was given evidence that Chicago had cheated badly. And didn't he want to contest that and try to find out how many votes were illegal? And he said, no, it would divide the country. It's been Democrats all along that have been the ones that contested. 2000, it was Al Gore. So for heaven's sake, they should have at least allowed a bipartisan effort that mentioned the president or any other candidate like I was trying to get them to do.
And oh, by the way, this was just simply grandstanding, was it? I mean, this is not a binding resolution with any teeth to it or anything like that.
You really do pay attention. You'd be wonderful to have in Congress with me. You paying attention to what's happening.
I mean,
exactly
isn't
right.
that the case? Yeah, I mean, this is just
no, it's not binding at all.
Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure. What was your take on the debate on Tuesday night?
Well, I've talked about, can I possibly make a nomination for an Academy Award, because I think Chris Wallace deserves an Academy Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role of Joe Biden. Yeah, I really thought he did much better than Joe Biden in debating the president. But he's not supposed to be debating the president. But the way he would come after the president. He continually interrupted the president while he was demanding the president not interrupt anybody else. So anyway, I felt from the beginning Chris Wallace should not have been a moderator, because he would not be a moderator. He would be the debater.
Yeah, after he'd said he wanted to be invisible, he was the furthest thing from that. Do you think, though, that there were some missed opportunities by the president?
Well, having been involved in a lot of debate through moot court and actually trials and appeals, I have never appeared before anybody, even winning a huge moot court competition. I have never spoken that I didn't finish and think, oh, dadgummit, I should have said this, that, and the other. So there's always missed opportunities. I don't care who you are. You know, the national debate champion was in our moot court competition, most articulate person. He missed opportunities at times. Everybody does. So certainly the president missed some opportunities, but in a format like that, it's hard to think of who could have avoided missing any opportunities. But yeah, Biden, for heaven's sake, this guy. And by the way, you played a clip earlier of him speaking after in the succeeding days since the debate. And it's obvious he hadn't been given his puppy uppers. He needs that little boost to get him back up again.
Yeah,
he was up for the debate, but boy, did it suck a lot of energy and brain power out of him.
Well, he's got to take today off. He's not even on the campaign trail today. The president goes to New Jersey, and Joe Biden's taking the day off. I do need to ask you about the Proud Boys comment. Sure. When they pushed him to say, tell them to stand down, say it, and he says stand back and stand by. Was that in your mind a missed opportunity? That should not be hard to say, should it, to white supremacists to say stand down?
No, and he has said that before. And for Chris Wallace to try to make that same false point that he's never ordered the white supremacists to back down during the debate when Wallace was saying, you basically you should tell them to stand down. He was going, sure. He absolutely is willing and has said that, there shouldn't be any violence. He's been much more vocal, and not only vocal, but he has also put those words into actions. So, yeah, it would have been easy to say that, but he basically did. If you go back and listen to each word that he said during that exchange. So, and I think he didn't use the word stand down, but that's obviously what he was intending. So the words, a bit of a missed opportunity, but he was dealing with Chris Wallace, who was, by his words, a liar, and playing right into the false narrative that President Trump said there was, great people on both sides, including white supremacists, when that very speech he called down white supremacists. So anyway, it's just unfortunate you had a very dishonest moderator like Chris Wallace. He could have said it again, but he has said it before. Proud Boys, I'm sorry, most people don't even know who that is. Right. And for Chris Wallace to bring that in just showed he was incredibly partisan. He let his hatred for President Trump actually come out and play for the world to see.
Congressman Louie Gohmert's with us. I know you got a busy day. I want to ask you one other thing. You tested positive for COVID at one point. Tell us what that was like. Tell us how you're doing today in the recovery process.
Well, it was when the day I was supposed to fly on Air Force One with President Trump back to Texas, and that's the reason I got tested. And I had the one that they just swabbed right inside the nostril, and two doctors came over to the entrance of the West Wing and said, Congressman, you tested positive, but there are a lot of false positives with that test. Come take the other one that's more accurate. So I did. And then when that was positive, I was totally shocked because I was completely asymptomatic that day. But because it was caught so early and I got on the hydroxychloroquine regimen, including lots of zinc and vitamin D and azithromycin, I just had a couple of days where I was achy, shaky, no fever, no loss of sense no loss of sense of smell or taste. And so I didn't have it too bad. And now I did have it. I know some people have said, well, you probably didn't even have it. Yeah, I did. I've got antibodies now. And that's why I've given plasma and whatnot. But I had one reporter that said, wow, and you're told you have COVID and then you drive all the way back to Texas? That must have been really scary. I'm going, Well, I'm a Christian. No, that's not really scary. I'm not afraid of death. To live as Christ, to die as gain. It was a long drive, but I've driven it before and listened to books. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, yeah. But it's a shame that you have bureaucrats, the pharmacy board in Texas, so many, the FDA, for heaven's sake, saying that one of the safest drugs in America for 65 years should not be taken by people that have COVID. And as one national doctor was saying, look at African countries that have been taking chloroquine for years. They didn't have a big problem with COVID. Mm-hmm. So why not let doctors be doctors? Why come between them and their patients? So it has really infuriated me, all the more having had it, that other people couldn't have suffered as little as I did if they had just been allowed to have that treatment. And of course, Dr. Bartlett in Midland, he made sure that I had the nebulizer, the breathing apparatus with steroids. You do those a couple of times a day to protect your lungs. So if everybody got to have the prescriptions I did, you didn't have people like Fauci that's being stupid and as a dictator and preventing people from getting what lessens the disease, then it wouldn't have been as bad. One study says 78% lower fatality rate in the United States if we had been using hydroxychloroquine regimen as much as other countries that did.
Congressman Louie Gohmert, always appreciate the time. Glad you're doing well. Look forward to our next visit.
Thank you.